What's an accomplishment you're proud of but can't tell your parents' family about? Using the alt for this one, my mom always used to be proud of my art until she thought I stopped drawing. Actually, I made money drawing pee and focused all my artistic progress into drawing better naked women because, frick it, I was making money to draw. On the flip side of this, my mother thinks I have some wasted and tapped artistic talent because of a painting I brought home from school. I actually did such a crappy job that the art teacher painted over large parts of it to give me tips on how to not suck. She keeps it framed on the wall and I don't have the heart to tell her. Broke my rib masturbating. Found Adam. In high school, I got a presidential fitness award or something. Basically, if you could move a little without fainting during your gym class, you got this award. I took it home and told my dad, and of course, I had to translate. I got as far as presidential award, and his eyes got huge because in Korea, it's pretty much the most prestigious award a schoolboy can get. He got all misty-eyed and literally ran upstairs to hide because he didn't want us to see him crying. Of course, I didn't mean to deceive him and I was doing pretty well in school, so that gave just enough inadvertent truth to the misunderstanding. A local artist painted me nude and the painting sold for hella money in his last art show. They don't know that I am a figure model and probably wouldn't be happy about it. I went to a nude model drawing session once. The model was very good. It was platonic. Well, I'm a straight female and the model was also female, and it was a ton of fun. People shouldn't judge figure models. Try being physically aroused while trying to draw a human body in 10 seconds. I beat through the fire and the flames on expert. I told them they just don't give a crap : I'm proud of you, son. I came so hard I popped a blood vessel in my lip and started bleeding all over the place. That sounds like something that would happen to a manga character. A few years ago I hired a hotel room at the Hilton in Islington, London for me and the girl I was seeing to stay at. We had so much physical action that we got a note pushed under the door the next morning saying, "You frick all the night. This is why we don't sleep. Thank you." I held onto that note for a good year, but threw it away because I got a new girlfriend and was worried she'd find it and wonder why I was keeping hold of it. I regret throwing it away now though. One of the greatest accomplishments of my life. I read that in a Chinese accent. My wealth. Suckers would want to borrow more money. Still waiting on that $30,000 from my brother. It's been 10 years, and he and his wife literally called me up, separately, to tell me how happy they are with their car purchases, an Audi and a Cadillac. If you can afford to loan out $30K, you can probably afford to send someone to his house with a baseball bat. I made myself CM in a room full of dudes without touching myself, using only my thoughts. The military was a very boring experience. Finally getting that huge corn cob all the way in. I'm maxed in RuneScape. I am beating my eating disorder, but they don't know I have one. Keep it up. I made out with 5 different girls dressed as bumblebees on Halloween night one year. It might as well have been the Hive. It was probably the same girl, but you kept getting more and more drunk. BJ off Craigslist. Didn't get murdered or robbed or an STD. I had a 4-way with 3 women. It happened due to Grigues. I was basically a corncob with a pulse to them. The American dream. 8 wanks in one day. This one time in 9th grade I had just got a TV in my room not too long ago, and I was flipping through channels at like 8 PM and I found the Hooters summer swimsuit competition, and man, I hit 12 times in like 4 hours. It was the best time of my young life. I am getting counseling on Monday. After walking past the office every day at college and staring, I am finally going tomorrow. Update. I went and filled out paperwork and I officially start on Thursday at 8 AM. Thank all of you guys. Without all of your words I would have pushed it off until later and later. Got physically intimate with sisters, 1 week apart from each other. They do not know I even talk to the other, and in a small town of only 7,000. That's an achievement. Never told anyone that before, and need several virtual high fives. I thought you meant your sisters at first. Got physically intimate 7 times in one night, which was also the first night I had ever had physical relationship. I ran a moderate size business in college. I personally moved $75,000 in product a month. I graduated, shut down shop and came home with an outrageous amount of cash. Dad found $3,000 in one band and just threw it back into my duffel bag without thinking. I bought a ridiculous watch and a truck with the money I made. A goddamn truck. Brand new off the showroom floor. Made more money in school than I do now. Thanks taxes. I came home with a limp on Christmas Eve. Told my parents it was because I fell into a shower, which they immediately knew I had been drinking. What they didn't know is that it was a shower in a hotel, and I was in it with 2 other guys and a girl. I was pretty happy with that accomplishment. I hid an entire pregnancy from everyone I knew and drove myself in a Stander to the hospital while in labor. Wouldn't recommend it, but I do have some perverse pride that I pulled it off. Fantastic at giving quality head and I know all the angles to make my boobs look amazing in photos. Quitting M. 3 months now. I got a BJ from a semi-famous midget stripper in a club while my ex-GF watched and was super into. It was hot in the strangest way possible. I've only told a few people. Thank goodness my folks don't read it. I spent a year working to be the best at a competitive MMO and achieved it. I was supposed to be studying to be an investment banker at the time. Procrastination is a wonderful thing. Batman's got a long list. Someone tag him. My internet points. I once got physically intimate with 3 different women on the same day. One before breakfast, one after lunch, one before dinner. I was young then. Actually, I think I may have told my mom about it. She's pretty cool. I'd tell your mom too. Did see off of a girl's boob and butt. Then we had a coked out physically intimate session. College. My most recent incident of self-harm. I put it off for like 6 weeks. When I finally did it, I compromised between what I wanted to do and what was safer. I also sought medical attention, have attended every appointment to get the dressings changed, and have managed to keep the dressings on and to not make it worse. Major improvement. I've also managed to cut the frequency of my self-harm from 1-2 times daily to 5-6 times a year. However, most of my family have no idea about any of my self-harm, and the one that does thinks I've stopped. I also don't think they would see it as an accomplishment, rather as a disappointment. The actual self-harm was bad, but everything else I've done about it has been a massive change from how I used to be. I was deeply, profoundly drunk. All I remember is that I hooked up with a random girl at a party. Shortly afterwards I must have blacked out, and her friends came to pick her up. I walked her outside, and then, as she walked through the backyard to get in her friend's car, I climbed onto the roof and shouted her name multiple times, basically a Stellar moment, and somehow managed to get down without killing myself. IDK. It's pretty dumb, but my friends still bring it up whenever they see me, and sometimes just message me her name out of the blue. That's pretty baller. That girl probably thinks you're crazy though, unless she's also a theater aficionado. I did 3 herbs and didn't die. I am calling the police. My first cam show I had over 8k viewers and made more than $80 in 20 minutes and didn't even go private. Coming really close to seriously considering, at one point planning, suicide, but managing to steer myself away from it. Hey, congrats OP. I know I'm just an internet stranger, but I'm glad you're still here with us. That I am going back to college. My mother really wants me to go back because I only have 1 semester left after I flunked out. She had a really hard time with me not going back as she grew up in poverty and didn't want me to experience it as well. I have been talking to my advisor and he thinks they will definitely readmit me if I reapply. I just haven't told her yet until it works out so I don't get her hopes up. Overcoming being depressed and suicidal because I took acid one night and had a major epiphany. Have really gotten the hang of physical relationships. Wait, is this just so everyone can share their achievements in physical relationships and masturbation? Well then, I just won't. Ahem. I've memorized about 10 or 11 entire Eminem songs. That's my answer. Made my wife orgasm 8 times in the course of an hour. It was pretty awesome. I was pretending. Carl. I've eaten pork, and it tasted kinda good. I also don't really give a crap about what I eat anymore. There's that too. I have a mental list of all the things I want to do, like drink alcohol or have a physical relationship before marriage and just overall be chilled out, letting life take me where it pleases. Little bit of background. My entire family are strict Muslims, and I realized at the age of 16 I didn't want to be one any longer because it felt stupid to blindly follow rules some guy made 1400 years ago in the hopes of getting good crap when you finally drop dead. That, and I don't want to regret a dang thing when I die. I am still alive after being violated by groups multiple times, and I then had my childhood sweetheart die from cancer just as things were getting good for me. This sounds like something you should definitely tell someone about. Hope you're doing okay. Throw away, because, well, I basically dragged myself out of severe depression, moderate case of alcoholism, feeling lost with what I wanted in life and feeling generally just entirely crappy about my life, myself and my choices in the past. By taking LSD regularly, meditating and just doing general deep thinking about why I was at the state where I was. A year and a half later, I'm doing great. I feel happy. I finally have a clear direction where I want to go in life and what I want to achieve. I'm working hard towards that goal and I feel super proud about the results I'm getting. And people are praising me for being so focused at what I do. I finally feel comfortable about myself. I've been able to forgive myself for all the flaws I have and instead worked on them. I'm finally just glad to be me. I wake up every morning excited about life. I have a really positive outlook on both the present and future, and I feel like I can be a much better friend and support for everyone around me because I'm not feeling so utterly crappy about myself anymore. Everyone thinks I've really blossomed during the past year and asks what the heck happened. I've told my closest friends, and while they were surprised, all have been genuinely happy for me and not at all judgmental. But my conservative family, yeah, they ain't ever going to know. I don't think they even realize just how bad my depression and alcohol abuse was, and think I just finally grew up at 31, and that my depression wasn't ever really that bad. They're the kind of folk who believe that you can cure yourself from mental illness by just cheering up and that only the uneducated lowlife of society has problems with addiction. Love ya mom and dad for everything you've done for me, but you're never going to fully understand what I've gone through and what kind of a person I am, and I'm starting to be okay with it. I once managed to extract incredibly clear DMT and grow huge, beautiful crystals of it. Still trying to find out how exactly I did that, but having single crystals of more than a cm3 was an amazing accomplishment to me at the time. Statute of limitation expired on this one, so I will try to find some pics to show off. Also made the best salvia extract I've ever encountered. It could be vaped off a piece of foil with no discomfort whatsoever, frick plant-based extracts, and would twist you into full dream visuals for 20+ minutes. I even wrote up the full procedure, as I found it superior to all others that were public at that time, and it was a legal plant then, too. As far as my parents know, I've tried pot once, and that's it. You've been visited by the Good Policy Grandpa. You will be blessed with good economics and healthcare, but only if you comment sleep well burner. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check out another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.